Hello everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Miss Crochet and Coffee here. And today we are doing a whip and chat. Whip stands for work in progress. So get out whatever that is for you. Work along with me. As you can see, I'm starting a new diamond painting because I finished Bubblegum Girl and I also finished my little Snoopy diamond dots that I had gotten from Black Friday. So today we're going to work on this one. I will have the finished result of this up later this evening over on my Instagram. So if you would like to check it out, it'll be over there. If you don't happen to catch it or you're watching this way after I've already recorded it, go ahead and look through the highlights on my Instagram reel and I will have the finished completed painting up there under finish DP 22. Either way, enough of that. How are you guys doing today? I hope you guys had a wonderful weekend. I hope you guys had a relaxing holiday for Martin Luther King Day yesterday. So today, like I said, we are starting this new kit. I've already gotten it kitted up. So let's talk about what we got here. So we got our I don't remember the name of this, but it's from Diamond Dots. It'll be linked in the description box of the video. I also have my boat from Mooney Made, my Chroma pen, my Diamond Pen Pal, or my Diamond Pen Pal pen, my Kevin's Creations pen, and I'm actually using a multi-stacked tray holder and trays. Now, I don't typically use things like this, mostly because I'm clumsy as all get out and I don't want to drop it. But today I decided I was going to use it, and I used it yesterday and it worked fine. This is from Scoopy Dog 3D Designs over on Etsy. This is not cross as in Jesus. This is because it's a stackable solution. So if you are someone who likes the stackable solutions, go check out Scoopy Dog over on Etsy. And again, they will also be linked down below. Now this kit has 9 colors, and we're going to get through as much of this while I tell you some stories from the coffee house shenanigans. So I hope you guys are ready. How you guys doing today? You doing good? Good. It's good to hear. It's good to hear. Yeah, I know. It seems like everybody right now, everybody in the group got COVID. Look, listen. I heard Rachel say something the other day, and it resonated with me because I kind of felt that way back when I had COVID. If you happen to get COVID, okay, it's not your fault. It's something that you can't see. It's something that, you know, it's gonna get you if it's meant to get you. Okay, there's taking steps to prevent yourself from getting it. There are some lucky folks out there like Mr. Coffee and Orion that have been able to avoid it for the last 3 years. But there's some of us out here like me and Maggie who apparently happen to get it. It is what it is. There's no reason to be ashamed of it or whatnot. If it happens, it happens. Just do your best to take care of yourself. Stay hydrated. Get the rest that it's telling you to get, because it's no joke out here in these crafty streets. You just take the measures you can to stay safe, which is why I always remind you guys to wear your mask and wash your hands and don't touch your face out in public. And that's hard, especially if you're a nail biter. Anyways. But I saw Rachel say that, I think it was her Patreon vlog, and I was like, she's right. There's a lot of people out here that are under this stigma that you should be ashamed of yourself if you get COVID. And there's no reason to be ashamed of yourself. It's something that happened. It's like if you get a cold. Are you going to be ashamed of yourself if you get a cold? No. Speaking of cold, Maggie had the flu. Her test results are in. Maury says it's the flu. The good thing is it's over now. So she went back to school. I yeeted her little ass out of the house this morning. Y'all, look, listen. Oh, jeez. It's been a weekend, okay? It's been a weekend. So just grab your drink. Don't drink it while I'm telling these stories because you're going to choke. But let's get started on this diamond painting, shall we? So we're going to uncover just a little bit of this. And we're going to go ahead and get started. We're going to start with the black outline, which I believe is A2. I used some of the little stickers from one of my diamond art clubs that had the extra little labels on it. Now, they do not stick the best on this solution. I'll be the first to tell you that I'm constantly pushing them down because I see them coming up. So maybe a piece of clear tape if you try to use this solution, especially if you're doing something that's not a partial and that you're going to be working on for a while. So I will give you that heads up. So I've already got it all, like, it's not kitted up. It's just in here because there's only 9 colors. So we're going to go ahead and get started. So yes, as you already know, Maggie was sick this weekend. She actually started getting sick last week, and I was told by her school that apparently half of her class was out with the flu. Now, of course, because the Rona is going around, everybody's worried about it being the Rona. And here, it wasn't even the Rona. it was the flu. And I could tell something was different about it. One, because she actually had symptoms. If you guys remember back when me and Maggie had caught COVID back in September, or I should say when Maggie gave me COVID in September, she didn't have any symptoms. So that was the first thing that was alarming me, because I was like, hold up, she's vaccinated. Why is she now having symptoms? Like, is that like a thing? And so I went and we got the test, and it came back and it said that she has the flu. And I'm like, okay, so if she has the flu, more than likely whatever this was that I caught Saturday was probably trying to beat a flu. But I called Paw and I was like, I'm sick. And normally I heard what you said. I heard what you said, and you're disgusting, okay? You're disgusting for saying it. You would have thought Paw would have said, get the tussin. But he didn't. He said hot toddy. Now, if you don't know what a hot toddy is, for those who don't know, a hot toddy is hot tea, lemon juice, and a shot of whiskey. Now, understand this. Miss Coffee hasn't drank alcohol in probably over 13 years. Why? Because I'm not a drinker. It wasn't fun for me. I don't like not being in control of myself. I have enough problems with my bipolar disorder and being different people. I don't need something else to make me not in control of myself. So I don't drink. If you drink, that's your business. It's your thing, boo-boo. It's your world. But me personally, I choose not to drink. I'm not a big drinker. So when he said that, I was like, I don't know about this. Like, this isn't going to be good. Look, listen. If you've never day drank on a Saturday while you have children, it's the funniest thing in the world. Funniest thing. Me and Orion were playing video games. He's like, Mom, you want to play the Oculus? Look, listen, let me tell you this. Don't play Oculus. I was smart enough to tell him no. I was like, no, I think I'm going to go downstairs. I played Minecraft. I got eaten by a spider, and I was like, that's enough for me. I'm done. I'm going to go downstairs and hula hoop. Look, listen. Also, if you get drunk, don't hula hoop. Not a good thing for you. I was hella dizzy. I'm spinning around in the middle of the floor. Mr. Coffee's like looking at me. He goes, how much of this did you drink? I'm like, I drank a whole hot toddy. After a while, it stopped being a hot toddy because he just got me like 2 of those little bottles of alcohol. And after a while, it stopped being a hot toddy and it was just hot. Okay? It was just hot. Mr. Coffee's like, so now I'm going to have to babysit you? Look, listen, if your boss calls, tell him you can't go into work. And he's like, what are you going to do? I don't know. Like, look, I tried to sit down and diamond paint, but the symbols kept dancing around the canvas. And I was like, this isn't good. Are they supposed to move? And Mr. Coffee's like, maybe you should just sit down for a bit. I'm like, okay. Because when I woke up on Saturday, I had a fever of 102. And I'm a typical person when it comes to, running fevers and stuff. Like when I get sick, I look as bad as I feel. And Mr. Coffee takes one look at me that morning. He goes, you look like shit. Wow, thank you, you piece of garbage. Nothing like telling your wife she looks like shit. And he's like, well, I'm honest. I'm like, okay, well, help me not look like shit. Like, what do we do? So, of course, we were like looking at each other and we both said at the same time, call Paw. You have medical people in your family. You just call them. So we called Paw, and like I said, Paw told me to take a hot toddy, and I was like, all right, bam, got you. Maggie had been sick since Tuesday last week. And just like everybody else, I was concerned that it was COVID because did come into both kids actually came into close contact with somebody who had COVID. Is actually one of their friends who are siblings, and one of the kids is in Orion's class, and of course the other child is in Maggie's class. And of course, when they came home, they were still like, talking to these little kids across the street. So I was just like, great, wonderful, awesome. So that's, like I said, we got the test and it said it's the flu. It's not COVID. So I was like, oh, thank God. And so when I woke up Saturday, I was like, it's COVID. I know it is. And he goes, doesn't seem like COVID. I'm like, how do you know what COVID seems like? It happens differently to everyone. He goes, well, if it was the same thing like you got last time, you were sick for a couple of days. So let's see if you're going to be sick for a couple of days. So after the hot toddy, I felt great. I couldn't feel nothing. But before the hot toddy, look, listen, you ever cough so hard your butt cheeks clap together? That's how hard I was coughing. And I knew it had to be something different from COVID. It actually felt like how it felt when I had bronchitis like 7 years ago. Because it's that cough that rattles your whole chest, like, as you can tell, I'm still getting froggy from it. Like, it rattles your whole chest and you can feel the mucus moving. And like, when I was little, when I was little, tell me if anybody else's parents did this, okay? When I was little, my dad used to take his hands like this, like he would cup them, like cup them. And remember, Pawpaw is a big guy, so he had like these gigantic bear paws, and he would beat my back. Not like he was pounding, like beating the crap out of me or something. No, he would like bongo my back whenever I got like chest colds like this, and it would loosen it up so that I could, as nasty as this sounds, spit out the mucus. Well, as I got to be older, whoever I was with at the time, I would make them do it. So like when I was with Minna's dad, I would make him do it. Now that I'm with Mr. Coffee, I'm like, okay, take your hands like this. The problem is, Mr. Coffee, y'all, look, listen, I know y'all like Mr. Coffee, and oh my God, he looks like Bucky from Winter Soldier. Oh my God, he kind of looks like Look, listen, I get it, I really do. But this man is not a gentle person. Like, he's not a gentle soul, okay? I have to watch when I tell Mr. Coffee to do things. This guy almost smacked my lung cavity out of my chest. I was like, okay, now just with a little bit of pressure, just bongo my back so that I can, like, get this mucus loose. Because I had a bunch of mucus in my chest and I could feel it. And he's like, you're starting to wheeze. I'm like, I know. So I need you to bongo my back, which is the same thing I did for Maggie, and it helped her. And after I did that to her a couple times, she stopped coughing. So I was like, let me have it happen to me. The problem is Maggie's hand is like this big, okay? So having her do it, no. Orion gets to be violent when you ask him to do things. I don't know if this is a boy thing or if it's just an Orion thing, but you can be like, Orion, look, we're happily beating on a drum. The next thing you know, Orion is fisting and beating the crap out of this drum, okay? Everything he does turns to violence. So I was like, I don't want to die today. I got stuff to do tomorrow. So we're going to go ahead and have Mr. Coffee do it. So I explained to Mr. Coffee what to do, and I even show him on his leg, this is what you do. Y'all, I would have thought this guy took a whole, like, heavy machinery equipment and put it on my back and then just start smashing me in the back with it. He's hitting me so hard, like, I can't even talk, okay? But it worked because he hit me so hard that when I got up, I'm not even joking, y'all, I coughed so hard, it was like I was twerking. I just heard, I'm like, what the fuck? Was that my butt cheeks? Look, listen, it felt great, but it was a weird experience for me, okay? Anyways, so I'm sitting there, and Mr. Coffee's like, is that better? Yeah, except for I think you knocked one of my lungs loose, but other than that, I'm pretty sure it's fine. Like, I'm pretty sure I can feel it rattling around in there because you knocked it loose from wherever it was sitting. Again, Mr. Coffee's not a gentle person, so I don't typically ask him to do things, especially when I don't want to, especially to me, if I don't want to get hurt, okay? So after I had him drum on my back a little bit, and I drank most of the hot toddy, and then the hot toddy turned into a shot of whiskey, and then the shot of whiskey turned into me drinking the rest of the little tiny bottle. I was feeling pretty good. Feeling pretty good. Now, Mr. Coffee told me to sit down somewhere and don't mess with nothing, so I did. And he's like, don't get on YouTube. Just sit and watch me play my game. Okay. And then I sit there and thought about it. I'm a whole grown-ass adult. I don't need to watch you play your god dang video game. So I went into Jeremy's live. Probably wasn't the best idea. I didn't act out too bad, I don't think. I did apologize to Jeremy for acting out the way I did, and he was just like, I didn't notice. All right, thanks. So, so I'm like, if nothing else, there's that. Well, then I woke up Sunday, felt perfectly fine. I've had a coughing spell here or there randomly, but other than that, feel perfectly fine. Now, the rule with Maggie's school is she has to be 24 hours without she has to be 24 hours without a fever, okay? And I'm thinking, okay, she got off school Friday. Like, I kept her home from school Friday. So she had Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. That's 4 days worth of sitting home, okay? So I was like, all right, let's check her temp. And every day she was running, like, low-grade fevers. And the first day it was like 102. And then it would slowly go down to the point where Saturday, her last fever was in the morning at like 99.6. And I'm like, low grade fever. Maggie's body temperature usually runs a little low. So it's just like, it's still a fever because Most people run at 98.6. Maggie runs at 98. Okay, like that's her temperature. And I'm like, I'm surprised it's not 100 because, you know, she's evil. Anyways, so she was just like, Mommy, I don't feel good. Now, even when Maggie doesn't feel good, she always has a smile on her face, okay? And I could tell something was up because she wasn't eating dinner. And it wasn't your normal, like, oh, well, it's Maggie, so all she eats is air particles anyways. Nay, she didn't even want to eat air particles. Like, just sitting down to dinner, she was falling asleep and everything else. So we put her to bed. She stayed in bed for like 2 days. And then, yesterday, she just pops up out of bed at noon. And I'm like, must be nice to sleep in. Mr. Coffee woke me up yesterday when he left for work. And I wasn't able to go back to sleep. So I was listening to an audiobook. So I was like, let me finish the audiobook I was listening to. And then I'll get up for the day. So that's what I did. I listened to the audiobook that I was listening to. And then I got up for the day. And I was like, yeah, what's the point of going back to sleep now? He done woke me up. He wakes me up to tell me goodbye. I don't know why he needs to wake me up to do that. But I fear that it's just because he hates my life. Anyways. So yeah, the weekend was fun because I spent most of it in bed or trying to play something with Orion. And Orion's trying his best to stay away from me and Maggie because he's like, I don't want the Rona. Nobody says it's the Rona, dude. We said it's the flu. I don't want that either. Now, when we lived in Pennsylvania, Orion would get sick on literally every month. Orion was catching bronchitis or some kind of a chest cold that would knock him down for days. And so since we moved here, Orion had, I'm not even joking, Orion was seen at the hospital so much. He was known by name. They knew exactly what to do and how many albuterol treatments to give him before they could send him home. Now, since we moved, Orion hasn't had a single flare-up of his asthma, or unless, he walks past somebody, at Walmart once, we walked past someone and they were smoking a cigarette and that kicked up his asthma. Because if you didn't know, Orion's allergic to life and cigarette smoke. So if you smoke a cigarette near him or the smoke gets near his face, it will cause him to have an asthma attack. So besides that one time that happened a while ago, he's been perfectly fine since we moved, which is another reason why I'm guessing he loves it here, because he hasn't been to the hospital for any respiratory issues at all. Now, Orion, when he was a baby, caught RSV from another child. One of my so-called friends, her daughter had just gotten out of the hospital with RSV, and she didn't tell me until after she came to see Orion. Now, Orion was a NICU baby, so he was in a NICU for 7 days before he got to come home. And when he did come home, she wanted to come over and see him, which I told her is fine. I'm like, of course I took the necessary precautions. I had her wash her hands, and I told her, please don't have your daughter touching them in the face or anything. And she said, fine. And so she tells me, because Orion later that evening got sick. And I was just like, well, what happened? He was just a baby. And so I was like, I don't understand what's happening. Anytime we would feed him, he would get sick. And then we finally decided to take him out to the emergency room because he was breathing funny. And then we got told that he had RSV. That's another 7 days in the hospital. And they're like, do you know where he could have gotten it from? And I'm like, no. And then I talked to my friend because she was saying about coming over the next day. And I was like, I can't. I'm at the hospital with Orion. He has RSV. And she goes, oh, little Lena just got over that. Right before we came over to your house, we had just left the hospital and got home. I let her take a nap and we came over. I'm like, you son of a... So yeah, needless to say, she's not friends with me anymore. I'm a hard person to be a friend with. Are you a hard person to be friends with? Because look, listen, I don't feel like I'm the only person out here in these crafty streets that's hard to be friends with, but it takes it takes a person, a special type of person, to be friends with me, because you either have to be extremely smart or horribly stupid. Because look, listen, I'm not a nice person, and you can tell which one it is whenever, or you can tell what kind of person I'm going to be by how I greet you. And look, listen, if I'm super excited when I greet you, that's good, Miss Coffee. If I sound like I'm snippy, that's not a good Miss Coffee. And I feel like I had a friend that she was super dumb and she couldn't tell that I was being mean to her. And we were friends, but she would get on my freaking nerves. So sometimes I wouldn't want to talk to her, so I'd be snippy at her, and she was too dumb to realize it, y'all. She, bless her heart, Jesus. But then I have those smart friends that just yeah, I don't care, shut up. Okay. Okay. So yeah, like I don't know. I'm a hard person to be friends with. Anyways, so yeah, so Orion he's been avoiding me and Maggie. He said he's quarantining himself. So Orion quarantined himself. He wouldn't eat dinner with us, and I did see him. But whenever I did see him, he had like a mask on and gloves, and I'm like, why are you wearing winter gloves? Now I don't even know why he has winter gloves. Because Orion's outside long enough to get into a car or get out of a car. Like, he doesn't go outside. So, like, I'm like, why do you have winter gloves on? He goes, because I don't want to get the Rona. I told you we don't have the Rona. Well, I don't want to get what you got. Well, okay, fine. I'm about to go get some ice cream. You won't get none of that either. And he's like, oh, I'll take some of that. Oh, of course, you'll take some of the good stuff, but you can't hang in there for the bad stuff. And then he was just like, I don't know. I like confusing Orion. He's funny. But yeah, so he's been perfectly fine. Mr. Coffee's been he hasn't been grumpy lately. Mr. Coffee is tired. Like, I tell you, Mr. Coffee is like a giant man-child. He doesn't take the best care of himself. And if it wasn't for me, I'm pretty sure this poor man would just sit in a corner eating Cheetos on a beanbag in his underwear, watching like anime all day. Like, Mr. Coffee is not a normal human. And I say this because he's been up every day for the last 2 weeks, up until 4 a.m., whether he has to work or not. Now take it, we get up during the week, we get up at 7 a.m. because that's what time we have to get up, get the kids ready, and get them out to school. And then he leaves from dropping off Orion to go to work. But then he will spend the entire day talking about how tired he is. And I go, okay, maybe we should go to bed at a good time tonight. Now, for me, it doesn't matter. I have insomnia. I only technically need 3 hours of sleep. Him, on the other hand, nay. Mr. Coffee is a grumbly bear. Is your spouse a grumbly bear? My spouse is a grumbly bear. Meaning, he needs upwards towards 12 hours of sleep to not be grumpy. If you let him get more than that, he'll be grumpy. If you let him get less than that, he'll be grumpy. Right at 12 hours, he'll be just fine. So I've been trying to get Mr. Coffee to go to bed at a good time all week, and he keeps telling me no. And I'm like, okay, now take it. I tell him to go to bed at a good time. I'm in bed at a good time. The kids are in a bed at a good time. He the only one want to sit up till 4 a.m. playing Destiny. And I'm like, look, your Destiny is going to be you falling asleep. And with you working with heavy machinery, look, listen, I'm going to need you to get some rest. So last night, I actually got him to go to bed at like 1:30. And I was like, that's not hella late. He can still handle like getting that much, like he got a decent amount of sleep. And then he slept until 7:30 this morning because he usually waits until everybody's downstairs to decide to wake up. So he slept until 7:30 this morning. So he got an okay amount of sleep. Enough that he shouldn't be grumpy. We did take his car to the shop. We are waiting to hear back on it. I felt so bad, though, because we take the car to the shop. Like, his friend Doug came over and took him to take his truck to the shop. Because with Maggie being sick, we didn't want to have her out of the house. And with me being down, tired, I didn't want to leave the house. And so... Sorry, I thought I heard something. But I didn't want to leave the house. So he called his friend Doug to come take him to the shop to go get his truck fixed. Doug said fine, so Doug went and took him. Now, they told him that they would look at it yesterday and tell him kind of what's going on with this truck. The problem is, over half their staff has COVID. So there's 3 people working in there. One of them's working the desk and 2 diesel mechanics. And they're like so backed up right now. And he's like, it's like everybody's truck essentially has broken down, and then everybody also has gotten COVID. And I'm just like, oh, well, that sucks. Well, they ended up calling him yesterday and telling him that it's going to be a little bit before they can even look at his truck. Because literally, like, I think they said 8 or 9 of their employees are down with COVID. And I'm like, dude, look, listen. I'm going to need y'all to wear gloves when y'all get in his truck because he's avoided COVID this entire time. And again, I don't have to explain to y'all that Mr. Coffee is a grumbly bear. If he gets COVID, he will try to physically fist fight the cold, okay? I can't have him doing this. From the man that's had scarlet fever 3 times, I can't have him getting COVID. So, like, I'm going to need y'all to wear gloves anytime you even think about looking at that vehicle, okay? Okay. So, they didn't have a chance to look at his truck yesterday, which bummed him out. Like, he legit got hella sad. And I was like, well, now I feel bad because, like, it's not like I didn't want his truck to get fixed. But I was, like, mad because his truck is already broken down and needs some kind of repair. But Mr. Coffee isn't used to this because where we lived at in Pennsylvania, you would have to get, yearly inspections? So you would have to get your car inspected every year, and then that's obviously when they would tell you if something was going on with your vehicle or not. Where we live at in North Dakota, those are not required. I don't know why. They also don't require emissions tests here, which is also something that we had to have in Pennsylvania. And so, you don't take your vehicle in until the problem starts happening. Now, when Mr. Coffee's had vehicles in the past, this is the first vehicle he's actually even had to take to the shop because he would just find beater cars, use them and drive them around for a year or two, and then once they stopped passing inspection, he would sell it and then buy a new car. And it was like personal trades and buys and stuff like that. So this is the first time he's ever had to take a car to the shop. And I don't know about you. I know about how I feel when I have to take my car to the shop, but for that first time you have to take your vehicle to the shop, especially when you know it's going to cost you an arm and a leg, look, listen. I was like, it'll be fine. He's freaking, like, he's legit freaking out, y'all, that something's going to be super wrong with his truck. I'm not even joking, y'all. That truck is his baby, okay? So I really hope that they're able to find out what's wrong with it and fix it so that he can stop whining about it. I think it's just mostly his nerves because, like I said, he's never had to take a truck or a vehicle in to get worked on before. Usually he just would get rid of the vehicle and then buy a new vehicle. And I'm like, well, take it from someone who's used to having their vehicle taken into the shop and, repaired and whatever. Which actually, no. I've taken my car to get, like, new tires and oil change, stuff like that. Can I change my own oil? Yes. Do I want to? No. I don't want to ruin my nails. That's what men are for. Hello? Now, could Mr. Coffee change it? He could, but the way my life is set up, right? Nah, I'm going to take it to the mechanic, okay? But I've had my tires rotated. I've had stuff like that done. Major repair, I think I've had one major repair on one vehicle, and I think it cost me like $800, okay? So I kind of have this, I have an idea of what happens when you take your vehicle to go get worked on. Mr. Coffee doesn't. So he's shitting a brick right now because he's scared that they're going to find, like, all this stuff wrong with his poor little truck. And I'm like, you just got the goddamn truck, like, what, 2 years ago? Now take it. He just got his vehicle 2 years ago. I've had my Highlander for, it'll be 5 years in May. I literally got my SUV 5 days before we moved to North Dakota. And the reason for that was I had a Nissan Versa. I hated that thing. I looked like a clown getting out of that tiny little car, okay? Remember, I'm 6'1". I was taller than the car, which is not something I'm used to being. Like, I'm not used to being taller than a vehicle that I'm riding in. So I was just like, I hated that thing. So I traded it in because I told Mr. Coffee one of the stipulations, because we had some issues before we moved. And so I gave him ultimatums, like, I won't be moving up to North Dakota until I have an SUV. So I went out and got an SUV. Well, it was the best purchase I ever made. And, yeah, I've had the car, it'll be 5 years this year because we've been in North Dakota 5 years this year. And it's, knock on wood, it has not had to have any major repair. It hasn't had to have any repairs, really. Minus that tire that kind of got, like, messed up a little bit when I hit that curb a couple of years ago. Look, listen, we're not going to talk about it. Minus that, it's been doing great. So I'm just like, yeah, I've had mine for 5 years now. Literally, I'm about to pay it off. Like, it's about to be my vehicle. And he's like, are you going to trade it in? Hell no. Why is it that why do people, like, I understand why people would think to trade their vehicle in, especially if you don't like the vehicle and you pay it off and you want to trade it in for something else. I get that. But I love my truck, okay, or my SUV. I love my SUV. I don't ever want to get rid of it. Like, I want to pay it off and ride on it until I literally can't ride on it anymore. And Mr. Coffee's like, well, we should trade it in to get you something bigger. What do I need something bigger for? The car I currently have. And I'm constantly getting messages and phone calls from the car dealership about trading in my vehicle because it's a very sought after vehicle. I'm not sure why it's so sought after. I was like, maybe it's the radio because it has one of those like JBL stereo system things in it. And it has like a 6-disc CD changer, which I still can't find. Apparently it was installed before it was traded in because it was a used car when I got it. So it already had like, you know, I think it had like 3,000 miles on it or something. It wasn't driven long. Apparently the person that purchased it passed away and they didn't have it too long. So they only put like 3,000 miles or 300,000 miles on it. Jeez. Since I've had it for the last 5 years, it now has 9,000 miles on it. So that's a thing. Can you tell I don't leave the house much? And a good portion of those miles was what, one round trip to Pennsylvania from North Dakota. So yeah, like I love my vehicle and I don't want to get rid of it. And Mr. Coffee's like, let's trade it in. Let's trade you in. I'm not trading in my car. Like literally, I'm not even joking. I literally have what? I think I have 12 more payments on it and then it's paid off. I'm not getting rid of my vehicle. No, hell no. Kiss my ass. No. So yeah, that's what's going on with Mr. Coffee's truck. Today is Tuesday that I'm recording this. And today we're having some hellacious winds. Yeah, you probably can't hear it now because I waited a while before doing my whipping chat because literally I'm sitting here minding my own crafty business this morning. I was woken up at 6 a.m. and I was like, what? I'm thinking it's time to wake up. And the first thing I do every morning, I don't know what it is or why I feel like I have to do this. Does anybody else do this? Like, or am I just weird? Okay. I get up in the morning and immediately I get up, I stretch, I go walk over to my bedroom window and I look out the window. What am I looking for? Nothing. Just want to look out the window. Well, this morning when I looked out the window, I saw a whole ass lawn chair fly past my window. Now take it. I'm on the second floor of my house. This isn't like, oh, well, you know, you're downstairs or you have like a one level house. Nay. Also, that's not a flex. Try being a big girl going up and downstairs, moving right along. So, I'm sitting there and I'm just like, what the flip? I was getting ready to wake up Mr. Coffee and then I realized it was 6 o'clock and I was like, oh, let me take my butt to bed. I gotta be dreaming or something. Nope, wasn't dreaming. Get up at 7 and sure enough, there's a wind advisory. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, how fast are the winds today? Not thinking anything like major or whatever, but it was really going. So I was like, okay, don't put a wig on or anything. Like, not that I was going to wear a wig today, but like, don't put a wig on or anything. Like, how bad is the wind today? I check it, y'all. Look, listen, we have 55 to 65 mile per hour gust. And I'm like, oh God. So right now, we've had a couple of days that have been super snowy. So we have a lot of snow on the ground still because we had like a couple of days where it snowed for days. And then this past weekend, we had a couple of days where it was up to like 40 degrees, which is like summer weather, right? Right. For North Dakota to have 40 degrees in the middle of January, look, that is summer weather. So let us have this. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh, okay, well, it should melt some of the snow because right where I have to walk up to walk the dogs, the snowplow people plowed snow there. So now I have to either A, walk across the snow pile, or B, I have to walk all the way around the dog park, which I'm not about that life either because I'm lazy and I don't want to walk all the way around the dog park. So I walk on top of the snow pile. Let's tell you that story real quick. So what was it? Sunday. Sunday, Mr. Coffee got called into work. So I had to take the dogs on their last walk. Okay. And again, that pile of snow, like I'm going to try to insert a picture. What time are we at right now? We're at 34:09. So I'm going to try to insert a picture here so that you guys can see the giant snow pile. Like, I'm not even joking, you guys. It's massive. Okay. Stay hydrated, folks. And so I have to cross over that to get to the dog park because usually I would just walk up the little thing right there to get there. Well, the snowplow people thought that they would be funny and cover it. And I'm like, haha, joke's on you. I'm still walking over here. Look, listen. Joke was on me because I should not have walked over the snowplow. I was fearful for my life on Sunday. Let me just tell you that. So I get the dogs. I get myself ready. We go outside, right? Right. We get to the snow pile, and I'm like, what's the best way to go up it? Now, I see a smaller section of the snow pile, and I'm like, oh, well, I can climb over right there because the pile of snow is not so high, and I can just walk across it to get to the dog park. Y'all, why did I fall through the snow? The dogs, I don't know if dogs are like buoyant, like I don't know what the word is, where they float. I don't know if they're just light on their feet or what. Killian is having a blast, okay? He's bunny hopping through the snow pile, okay? Daisy is Little Miss Priss, which I think everybody has a dog like this. You have the derp dog, the dog that's just like, nothing bothers me, yay. And then you have the prissy dog that's like, oh my God, I don't want to get my paw wet by stepping there, oh God. And then you have like my dogs, which are, Daisy would be the prissy one. Killian is the derp. So Killian, as he's bunny hopping to get up through the snow pile, he gets up. Daisy's like Little Miss Priss, like she'll put her paw down and then pick it up and then like shake it off. And then she put it back down and then shake it off again. She doesn't like snow sitting on top of her paws. I don't know why. She will step on snow all day, as long as it doesn't get on top of her paw. Who knows? And since it's not like in the negatives, I don't put their snow boots on all the time because we're not usually outside long enough for it to do anything. So like they'll get like a pair of socks or something, like some wool socks to put on their feet. They stay on for the most part. Anyways, so I'm sitting there and I'm like, all right. They get over perfectly fine. Like Daisy, it takes Daisy a few minutes because again, she's prissy and she can't just like walk up like Killian did. Killian done walked up, ran around the snow pile, and then came back down to go back up. So he's just playing at this point. Daisy's just like, oh God, I don't want to touch it. I don't want to touch it. So then it was my turn to get up, okay? And I'm using them as leverage because they're standing at the top of the snow pile looking at me. And I'm like, all right, I got this. So I was going to use them as leverage. Why both dogs take 2 steps forward as I'm trying to like use them as leverage? The part where I stepped, well, I don't know how they were able to step there because I fell down into the snow, okay? Luckily, my neighbor saw me disappear and saw the dogs and was like, Daisy, Killian, where's mommy? Daisy starts pointing and whining down towards me and I was like, hey, I'm down here. Had to have my neighbor come dig me out of the snow so that I can go walk the dogs. Luckily, the dogs also like my neighbor, so I didn't have to worry about like Daisy going and being some kind of a way because Daisy doesn't like men. I don't know what it is or why. When I got Daisy, I actually got Daisy off of an Amish breeder when I lived in PA. And I don't know if the men abused the dogs or what, but ever since I got her, she hated men. There was only like 2 men that she actually liked that she would let around me. One was a guy that we called Uncle Matt, who lived next door to us. He was our next door neighbor. He was my friend's husband because he went to go get Daisy from the Amish people because, Amish people, he knew how to interact with them better than I did, I guess. I don't know. He wouldn't let me go get the dog. He's like, I'll go get your dog. Okay, fine, go get it. So he was nice. Uncle Matt, we called him Uncle Matt. He was nice enough to go get the dog for me, him and his wife. They get the dog and bring Daisy back to me. I had Daisy. I had to go clean her off because she smelled awful. But Uncle Matt and his wife and family were the only people allowed in my house that Daisy wouldn't try to attack. And now, of course, Daisy loves Mr. Coffee. And we had to get her acclimated to the neighbor guy because we didn't want her biting on the neighbor guy like he was a Slim Jim because he's about as small as one. So the neighbor guy was just kind of like, how'd you get stuck in there? I was like, I was trying to climb over the snow pile to get to the other side because they plowed over where I usually walk up and I fell through the snow. Now take it. I didn't hit my head or anything. I wasn't hurt. My pride was hurt. Other than that, nothing else was hurt. But I'm sitting in there looking up at my neighbor and he's like, yeah, I don't think you realize that this hill slants. So where you thought the snow wasn't piled up really high, that's because it slants. So essentially, all that snow got packed into one spot and I just slipped right through it. Now take it, I'm 6'1" and he couldn't see my head, which is why he had to ask the dogs where I was at. Because he knows, if he sees Killian outside, mind your business. If he sees Daisy outside, something's wrong. Because Daisy ain't gonna stay outside voluntarily, not when it's wintertime. If it's summertime, yeah, she'll stay out there all day. Killian? No. Killian, if you see him outside in the summer, something is wrong. If you see him outside in the winter, mind your business. And I've had people like try to call animal control on me because, oh, well, she left her dog outside. And animal control is like, you know, asking her, asking the people what kind of dog it is. And like they'd come to the house and I think it was like the first the first time we got that really bad snow a few weeks ago. Animal control was already over here for someone, and somebody had said about how I leave my dogs outside. And so animal control came over to talk to me, and I was like, do you know anything about Siberian Huskies? And the lady goes, yeah. And I was like, okay. Well, the dog that the lady is claiming that I'm leaving outside is a Siberian Husky. She's like, have a good day. Thank you. She understood the assignment. Okay, let me just say it like that. She understood the assignment. Because again, if you see a Siberian Husky or any type of Husky outside in the winter and they're just laying there chilling, mind your business, okay? It's not like we haven't tried calling these dogs inside. They refuse. I have literally had to pick up Killian and forcefully take him inside so that, sorry, I'm going to tighten this because somebody said something last time about Miss Coffee, it was shaking. Well, yeah, it's got Parkinson's. Anyways, no offense to you if you have Parkinson's. Moving right along. But I'm like literally having to pick up this dog and carry him in the house because he refuses to come inside because it's cold and he loves the cold. Now, when it's like negative degrees and stuff, he'll lay down. He'll just lay down in the snow. Can you get him to come in the house? Hell no. There's been like 3 times now that I've left that dog out there and I would have to go out and get him and have Mr. Coffee either drive his truck over to the dog park so we can put him in the back of the truck, or have to have Mr. Coffee go over and get him and carry him back home because he refuses to get out of the freaking snow. And my neighbors around here all know now that if they see Killian, that they are to just mind their business. Because more than likely, especially since he's that close to his house, more than likely if he's out there, it's because he wants to be out there. And half the time, my neighbors don't really care. They'll just take and put their dogs in the dog park with them. Killian will play with their dogs, and then he'll sit there and watch them leave as he sits there in the dog park. Like, he don't care. Bring your dog in here. I had to, you know, of course, when we get new neighbors, I have to, you know, explain to them that the dogs are friendly and stuff so that they're not afraid to put their dog in the dog park if they happen to see Killian in there. I'm like, he looks evil, but I promise you he's not evil. Killian is actually, I have to call the vet for Killian again because his face under his one eye is breaking out again. And he's already finished his antibiotics, which he was on the antibiotics for like 3 weeks. And it cleared his face up. But now whatever the infection was that he had, looks like it's coming back again. And I'm like, oh, well, great. Because, you know, I like spending all this money on this dog. Yeah, this is wonderful. Which he's actually sitting over here. Which is shocking because okay, let's see if I can whip you around over that way. So I got to loosen you now. Usually he sits close to me when I'm diamond painting. And he's like, he's laying on the floor. Alright, we're going to tighten you back up. Bloop. And of course, here comes Daisy. And she is now demanding attention. Hello, Daisy. So, yeah. Anyways, so that was Sunday that I got trapped in the snow. And then this morning we wake up, and like I said, I hear the wind. I see a whole chair fly past my window. I tell Mr. Coffee this. He thinks I'm insane. I'm like, what else is new at this point? Because I see weird things. And I'm like, I see weird things that he normally doesn't see just because he's never home. Just like he doesn't get sick very often because of the kids, because he doesn't see them as much as I do. I'm like, you see your kids on the weekends, okay? During the week, he does see the kids, but because he works so late, he sees them long enough to say goodnight to them usually. Like, they're usually up in their rooms winding down for the night by the time he gets home, which he's been starting to come home a little bit earlier. He started back the week that my gram died. He started instead of coming home at 8, he would come home at 6. So he's usually home or he'll be done at work at 6. He'll be home by like 6:30ish, because usually I have to send him on some kind of an errand. Like, I think today, no, I'm going to go to the post office today because I got to ship off Pawpaw's Garfield painting. I still have yet to ship that off. Why? Because I'm lazy, that's why. You would have thought I would have did it by now, but Friday I didn't leave the house. Saturday I was sick. Sunday the post office isn't open. Yesterday the post office isn't open. So today is the first time I've gotten a chance to actually do it. And I'm hoping I'll have enough time to make the shipping label and everything so I can do it. Because I also need to check the P.O. box, because when I did the D-stash, one of the canvases came back and I was just like, what the hell? So I think I'm just going to refund the person their money, because continuously shipping out something is not my job, especially when it's out of country. Because look, listen, I don't know if they're rejecting packages or what, but this poor lady's package was sent out. It circled the country twice and then came back to me. I'm like, yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to send that back out to you, dog. Nah, that cost me $50 the first time, and she paid for shipping. So like if you remember when I did the D-stash, essentially all you did was pay for shipping. So she paid the shipping. The problem is, it for some reason circled the U.S., circled out of country somewhere where they weren't scanning it, and then they just sent it back to me, and I'm like, what the hell? So I have to go get that out of the P.O. box today, and I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to ship this back to you, because if they didn't take it the first time, what makes you think they're gonna take it the second time? And I really don't want to waste the money sending it back out there just to have them send it. Like, I don't want to keep doing this back and forth. And so I'm gonna check to see what reasoning they had for sending it back, because I'm gonna call the post office. And if it was a stupid reason, like they just right now because of COVID, they're not accepting packages, even though that was sent like 3 months ago. If they decide not to take it, I'm going to have to refund her little $50. Because look, listen, I'm not about to sit here and keep taking and shipping this thing off. That's requiring me to continuously put on pants. And y'all know, I ain't about that life. I ain't about that life. Anyways. So I'm going to straighten this, because for some reason, this looks hella crooked. So we're just going to straighten this up a little bit. I don't know what I'm doing. But yeah, I decided that I wasn't going to do the Ravenclaw kit. And I keep getting people asking me about it. I wanted to do the Ravenclaw kit when I first opened it. But then I thought about it. I don't want to rush through it. Like, that's not the point of diamond painting. I don't want to rush through a kit just because I can. Like, just because you have a big penis doesn't mean you have to do porn. Just because you're fast at diamond painting doesn't mean you have to be fast all the time. So I was like, I don't feel like rushing through a kit. And that's also how you burn yourself out, is trying to rush through something. So I was like, I'll complete it another time. It's not going anywhere. It's just sitting in the closet. So whatever. So I decided, you know what? That's okay. I'm going to go ahead and complete these kits here first. And then depending on what sneak peek I get, if I get one this week, because as of right now, I don't have anything. But if I happen to get a sneak peek this week that I'm super excited about, maybe I'll start that, or I'll have to bring out the Wheel of Doom again and have it pick out another kit for me to do. Because I'm trying to do more kits this year. Like, my goal is to do more than just a bunch of Diamond Art Clubs. Like, maybe do one Diamond Art Club a month and then try some other kits. The problem is, I feel like every time I start a new kit, something bad happens. So, like, now I'm scared to start new kits. I ain't had no problem starting these partials, though. I'm loving these partials. I also want to see about, like, in a month, how many partials can I get completed? Like, I'm going to have to buy a bunch of partials from, like, FG Normal or something. And see about doing, like, how many partials do you think you can get done in a month's time? Problem is, what happens if I run out of partials? Like, partials are super simple. And I don't like the special drilled partials. Those look gaudy and weird. Like, that's just my opinion. I like the regular, just like this. Like, this is a good, decent sized partial. Like, what if I went and bought, like, one of every Diamond Dots partial that they had on Joann's Fabrics and then spent the month just completing partials? I wouldn't know what to do with them. Like, I know what I'm doing with these Snoopy ones. These Snoopy ones are going upstairs in the hallway. But, because Mr. Coffee was like, oh, can we hang those up somewhere where everybody can see them? I'm like, everybody can't see them back in my craft room, but apparently that's not a freaking thing. So he wants them upstairs in the hallway, so I was like, all right, fine. Plus, again, it's not like I have a whole lot of room in the back room on the wall for more diamond paintings. I plan on switching them out, though. Like, that was my original plan, was to get them up on the wall and then switch them out. The problem is, I really like the ones I have up on the wall. And, like certain kits, like Black Girl Magic, she's actually sitting over here in the window. So when people drive past, they see her sparkling in the window. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna do Bubblegum Girl the same way. I'm gonna put her in the other window. Just because then my neighbors, when they see it, are like, oh my God, that's so cool. What is that? And then I get to explain it to them and lure them into the craft. One of us. Come on, get it. Like, I at this point, every summer, I should open up the diamond painting shop and let people just shop through my closet and, you know, get people in my neighborhood started in diamond painting. That'll give us something to do. Anyways. So, yeah, so it was an interesting weekend. Like I said, I spent most of the weekend just trying to make Maggie feel better. Saturday, she was feeling a little bit better. She was playing with the ferrets, and they were fighting over the boxes that I have. Because I have like 4 or 5 Diamond Art Club boxes like stacked up in the hallway upstairs. And Maggie was putting the ferrets in the box. Well, Anna, which I don't understand what happened completely. From what I could gather, Anna got into the box. Gumball tried to take the box from Maggie, and he was backing up towards the stairs, and he started tumbling down the stairs. Don't worry, he's fine. Well, then Anna was in the box, and she went tobogganing down. Tobogganing, is that a word? I guess it's going to have to be a word today, because that's the only thing I can think of. She essentially went sledding, there you go, down the stairs in the box. And so Maggie was like, oh, that's so cool. The problem was, I'm going to guess she had fun, because then she tried, when she got to the bottom of the stairs, she got out of the box and tried to carry the box back upstairs. And then I was like, what is going on? Because I heard the box slide downstairs, and I thought Maggie was up messing with the boxes in the craft room again. So I was like, what are you doing, like, messing with the Diamond Art Club boxes? And she's like, look, Mom, look what Anna can do. So she brings Anna back upstairs, and they start sliding down the stairs in the box. And I'm like, oh, sweet Lord and baby Jesus. So I was like, okay, let's not play on the stairs, okay? Mommy gets angina when you play on the stairs. If y'all don't know what angina means, that means heart palpitations, okay? So I'm sitting there, and Maggie's like, well, I want to play with the box, Anna. And so Maggie puts her leg in the box, and she goes, look, Mom, I got a peg leg. I'm like, that's great. Maggie has an infamous habit of putting her legs in the boxes. And then, like, I'm cooking dinner, so I'm not really paying a whole lot of attention to her. Yes, I still cooked dinner while I was a little bit toasted, okay? Because just because I'm toasted don't mean my job ends. And I still, what did I make? I made, like, barbecue pork chops or something. And Mr. Coffee's like, this is really good. We should get you drunk more often. No, thank you. No, thank you. But, as I'm cooking, I look over, and I just hear Maggie going, she said something like walk away or peg away on these haters. And I'm like, peg away on these haters? I look up, and that's when she has both her legs in the box. And as she starts like walking down the little pathway there to the living room, that's when I snapped the picture of her, which I put up on Instagram if you would like to see the picture, where she has both her legs in the Diamond Art Club box, and she's just like waddling around, as she calls it. She's pegging away on those haters. So there was that. And then, of course, the ferrets are hissing at her because they want the boxes. And then they now have this, they are now addicted to essentially riding things down the stairs. So now they'll find like a big stuffed animal or something, and they'll push it down the stairs and then try to jump on it. So I have to get the ferrets out of that habit, or I'm going to have to start putting up baby gates so they don't fall and kill themselves going down the stairs. Ferrets are not exactly graceful, I've learned. And, yeah. Also, we were talking about getting the ferrets a new, a cat tree, because ferrets are like cats and they like things like that. So I was like, why don't we get them a cat tree and see how they do? They like to climb on stuff. So I was like, that might, you know, curb some of that wanting to climb on stuff, and it gives them something to scratch on. Win-win for me. Anyways, we're also getting ready for a birthday in the house. So the birthdays have reset, which means it's time for the birthday roundup. Maggie is one. Maggie's hella salty because it's not her birthday. When is her birthday? How much longer to her birthday? Now take it. We've been talking to Orion now all month about what he would like for his birthday this year. And when did your children start asking for like something that wasn't toys? Something that was more child/teen related? Asking for myself, because Orion, oh my God, this kid, y'all. Orion has started asking for toys that aren't necessarily toys. They're big boy toys. And I'm thinking, okay, what exactly could he want? Because he looks at me this year when I ask him, you know, hey, dude, what do you want for your birthday? So for those who don't know, Orion turns 11 this year. One, I'm sad because he's in double digits. I'm going to have another teenager on my hands. Good God. No, he's not going to be a teenager. He's only going to be 11, but still, like, it's getting close. And I'm scared to see Orion as a teenager because he already outsmarts me in pretty much everything. So I'm just like, great, evil genius in the house. So we ask Orion what he wants for his birthday this year, and he tells us he would like a desktop computer. Now take it. Orion has a laptop, okay? When I got my new laptop a few years ago, I gave Orion my old laptop so that he could play with the old laptop because he likes computer stuff. So why not, right? Right. So we gave him my old laptop. Well, now he's thinking of his future, as he says, and he would like a desktop. And I'm like, what do you mean thinking of your future? What? Y'all, if I've never told y'all before what Orion wants to be when he grows up, you would think he would want to do something like extraordinary because he has such a smart brain. You would think like he wants to be a scientist or an astronaut or something like that. No. My son wants to be a Twitch streamer. Now, am I going to poo-poo all over his dreams? No. Because if that's what he wants to do, that's what he wants to do. Plus, it's kind of like, who am I to tell him he can't be a Twitch streamer when I kind of stream on YouTube? Like, I'm on YouTube, so, like, there's that. And he's like, I want to be a streamer. And I'm like, well, if I get you this laptop or this computer, you're not going to be streaming. He goes, no, but it's getting me ready for it. And I would like to learn how to play games on the PC. And I'm like, oh, great. So we're in the market for a computer for Orion. I am hella scared. One, because people out here in these crafty streets are not, they're not kosher, okay? So I'm a little worried about that, but because, you know, I'm a parent. That's what we do. So there will be a lot of parental controls on his computer if he gets one, if we can find one for a decent price. And of course, as soon as he said he wants a desktop computer for gaming, I could see the nerd wheels turning in Mr. Coffee's head. He's just sitting there with this shit-eating grin on his face like, yes, son, you have now come full circle in the circle of nerdiness or something. And I'm just sitting there, and Mr. Coffee literally just has this, like, half tear in his eye, and he's smiling from ear to ear, and I'm like, dude, what the hell's wrong with you? He goes, my son wants to be a gamer. Now, y'all already know Mr. Coffee's a gamer. He wanted to stream on Twitch. He just never had the time, and with school and work, he doesn't have the time. And for those wondering, he's doing great at school still. He did take a break back when I had my gallbladder surgery. He took a break from between that time and Christmas. He had taken that whole time off because I kept going back in for surgeries and then my doctor's appointments and everything else. So he took a break from school. So it kind of pushed his graduation date back. So he does graduate, I want to say in August this year. And I think he's going for mobile development. Look, I don't know 100%, okay? I don't know. I'm not that type of wife. Anyways, that sounds horrible. I'm not that type of wife that cares enough to know what my husband's going to school for. He's going to school for mobile development. He wants to be able to make apps. So like when his son said that he wanted to be a streamer, which is something that Mr. Coffee's also wanted to do or had planned on doing when we moved here, but then just got caught up in school and didn't have time. Now he's all excited because he's going to try to help Orion. And I'm like, okay. And he goes, well, Mom, I can come to you for advice, right? I'm like, you can. I'm not any good at what I do. I just do what I do. And he's like, Mom, I see your lives. You can give me advice, right? I'm like, fine, I will give you advice. God dang it. So Orion is preparing for his Twitch debut sometime in like 2030 because at this point, it's not happening anytime sooner than that. So I was like, yeah, no, you won't be streaming while you still have class because I've seen people stream for 6-7 hours. That's not a thing. If you're streaming longer than you're doing homework, look, listen, we got a problem. So we're going to be in the market for a computer for Orion. It's not going to be anything super expensive or super fancy, but we're going to get him started so that he can live out his dream of being a Twitch streamer like Markiplier and Jacksepticeye. And I'm like, see, those are good idols. Like, they're good at what they do. Don't idolize me, because mama's just a piece of garbage. And he just starts laughing at me. He goes, all right, Mom. But all right, guys, it was nice having this little talk with you. Thank you for talking with me. I appreciate it. Coming and hanging out with me and everything. I really appreciate it. But as you can see, we got a little bit done. We got the outline started. We're just going to color that in. This is the most black, though. Like, I hate it. I hate when there's big clumps of a color because it feels like it takes it's partial, but it feels like it takes forever. Either way, I'm going to get out of here now. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for having this little talk with me. I appreciate it. Write all your answers down below if you happen to answer any of the questions that I was asking in the video. But with that said, folks, I got to get out of here. Thank you so much. If you are new to the channel and would like to see more random crazy videos just like this, please feel free to hit that subscribe button and the bell to be notified anytime I randomly decide to put up a video. And believe me, it's random. But with that said, I must now bid you adieu. But not before reminding you that it's hard out here in these crafty streets, y'all. Please, please be safe. Wear a mask. Wash your hands. Don't touch your face in public. Keep your 6 feet and always try. Be kind. Be courteous. Be cool. Bye, guys.